Hello, good morning. This is video log entry number 43, and currently it is 9 a.m. CST. Happy Sunday, I guess. Yeah, today's Sunday. um, yeah, I don't go to church, but I'm not a Christian, but I think I like spiritual. I think I found a new subscription, and it's going to be spirituality. Why is that hard for me to say? Spirituality. Yep, that's my new subscription because I decided that I'm going to become a Zen Buddhist. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But, I've been trying to be positive, and that's been helping. And it's also been, like, moving my mind to the side so it won't damage myself anymore because my mind has never been it's never been practical. I guess that would be the best way to say it. I'm trying to shift into a more practical mindset as opposed to questioning everything because you can't answer everything. I mean, sure, I could become one of those. I could have gone into academia and I could have questioned everything, but then I realized that maybe one day I'll go back to school. But I don't know. Again, like I've said, I don't like the structure of academia. Primarily the nepotism, and like school structure is okay. I don't know. It's more of a preference. I know if I want to, I can get through it, and I just have a lot of trouble paying attention. And I realized it wasn't for me because, well, I didn't really show up to any of my classes really. So I was like, I guess I was just not really. I wouldn't say some of my classes were stimulating. The only classes that were stimulating to me were my higher level math courses. Physics wasn't stimulating anymore. Well, okay. Well, it's because I was taking lower level physics courses. When I was, I think I was mentally past most of my courses that I was taking, if that makes sense. I mean, I didn't really have trouble with quantum physics because it's all linear algebra, right? And it's just, well, linear algebra and partial differential equations. If you're taking introduction to quantum physics, it gets harder than that. If you take advanced quantum physics, I'm sure I'd probably run into a lot of intellectual road bumps. And I also, just because of how bored I was with my classes, I got a book on quantum field theory, and, well, that was too far for me. I didn't really read it. I had to have been patient with myself to do that, and I'm slowly learning to be patient with myself, which is nice. But I did get what's it called? I think it was some Chinese guy, and he wrote a book on quantum field theory, and the first part of the book was on Einstein notation. That was my first time hearing of it. I was like, what the heck is Einstein notation? Just Einstein notation is basically sigma, sigma notation. If you ever taken math and you have specific boundaries, but they don't show the different variables and whatnot, like I, J, and K, and it's kind of implied that these summations are running on different dummy variables. They call it quote unquote dummy variables because they are just they are representations of different variables running within the integer system or whatnot. So it's just it was just kind of implied and just keeps things cleaner when you're dealing with a bunch of summation notation. Of course, you're going to be dealing with a lot of summation notation in physics. You can't avoid it. And there's a lot of linear algebra. You know what that means? A lot of summation notation. So that was weird the first time I saw that. The indices were at first it was weird, but then, I kind of absorbed it pretty quickly because it's just another way of representing the that data, right, or that abstraction. And I've never had trouble. My mental fluidity is pretty high, so I can kind of look at something and adapt to it pretty easily when it comes to abstractions, at least. And then I ran into tensors and whatnot. I was like, what the hell are tensors? I've never heard of that before. You would think that they would introduce that in linear algebra, but I guess they are. Matrices are lower order tensors of you have order 0, I think, which is scalars, and then you have vectors, which is order 1. Order 2 would obviously be matrices, two-dimensional objects, I think. And so on and so on. I think that's how, I forgot what tensors actually represent as mathematical objects, but I remember something like that. Actually, no. I think in mathematics they have this. Tensors are basically matrices, that are invariant due to certain transformations. So they are matrices. They can be 2D, 3D, 1D matrices, but they are invariant due to certain linear transformations that occur, and that is a tensor, essentially, I think. I'm not 100% sure. And what I mean by invariant is that certain objects with information in that that the tensor is holding doesn't change within certain transformations. But yeah, I mean, if you've ever taken linear algebra, you probably know some of that. I'm not sure. I just remember I don't know, man, like, I think I'm going to go back to school eventually, but I remember when I was taking like a second course in linear algebra, something was like, I felt like, I don't know, like it just felt too slow for me. Like I was understimulated, and me being understimulated just caused me to pretty much flunk out of that course because I didn't go to class, and then the class slowly started ramping up pretty quickly actually, and it was too much for me to like keep up with. I mean, like I did the homeworks and everything, and then I didn't study for my exam because I think the exam, I don't even know what the exam was based off of. They didn't give us a structure of like, he didn't really tell us what was going to be on the exam. I guess we had to like practice on the book, which I didn't. I just did the bare minimum, which is the homeworks. And then we also had to read through the material. I didn't read through, I just did the homeworks. So I just did everything based off of my prior understanding of what mathematics was then. And then I've missed out on a lot of basic definitions that were in the book. And I fucked up on a lot of simple questions that I should have just known, which was unfortunate because that class wasn't really hard. I just screwed up there, honestly. And that really took a stab at my ego because, again, I used to think I was pretty smart, and I'm slowly like, I'm letting go of that ego part of myself. So like, I don't really think of being smart anymore. I just tend to identify with being, like my heart, right? But yeah, I mean, that's it's okay. I'm probably going to go back to school because I did like computer science was interesting. I did like computer science. The reason why I like computer science is the fact that okay, fine. It's what's it called? Theoretical computer science is really nice, or theoretical. Yeah. Anyways, anything involving theory of computers was cool because of the mathematics involved, which was something I was never really introduced to in high school and all that. There was a lot of discrete mathematics, so that means we had to do a lot of proofs, and I was not bad at I never had trouble with proofs, so that was fun, and it was interesting because I felt like I was using that creative side of myself a lot more because I do like using that part of my brain. So yeah, we did a lot of proofs, and combinatorics was also really interesting because, again, it's the creative side of the brain almost, because it's kind of like combinatorics is basically it's the science of counting, but in easier ways. Because I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of Gauss's formula. Is it Gauss? I think so. Where you are counting from, like, basically you have a summation running from, I mean, you can use Einstein notation if you want, but you have a summation running from I equals 1 to some n, and you can represent that as n times n plus 1 over 2. And that was kind of cool looking at that. It's pretty easy to figure that out. All you have to do is reverse the ordering of, so you can add those two summations. So you can do 2 times the series is equal to 1 series, and then the flip side of the series, which is still itself, so it's 2 times s, so you're adding those two. And then you realize that you get a bunch of 101s, but then that's the n at the top, but then you have that 101 added n times, so it's n times n plus 1, but then it's 2s is equal to n times n plus 1, so then you get s is equal to n times n plus 1 divided by 2. And that was cool. I remember when I saw that in calculus, I was like, whoa, that is really nifty. And apparently that guy, Gauss, he was a brilliant mathematician, and he I think he was like in like middle school or something when he figured that shit out, and she was like, that was so cool. Like, man, that was very creative. Like, that's like another reason why mathematics is so interesting. But yeah, that was very creative of Gauss. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have ever thought of something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot of cool things in mathematics that I tend to like. But what was I thinking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about like combinatorics. That's a form of combinatorics because you do see that a lot. I remember when I was trying to derive the binomial or n choose k. What's it called? The binomial coefficient, right? N choose k. And Gauss's formula showed up on that, which was cool. But I couldn't. I could have gone further. I didn't find a closed form for it. I mean, you can wiki it, but that's boring, right? Funny. Like I'd rather just rederive it because it feels like I was the one who invented it, even though obviously it wasn't. But it feels fun, kind of going through the thought processes of these people who were creating these formulas and these hard subjects that were, back in like the 1800s, because combinatorics was, I don't know, combinatorics is a fairly new discipline in mathematics, is it? Gauss was starting to do that. I think it was like in 1800 when Gauss was doing this stuff, but I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have a book on combinatorics. I just know I've been exposed to some of the theories of combinatorics and whatnot, and I remember that being really interesting. And you get a lot of that in, well, computer science. So yeah, I don't know. It's all very cool stuff. Why was I talking about that again? Oh yeah, I guess I was just talking about physics, and then I went to that and what I was interested in. But yeah, and I was also talking about spirituality because I'm trying to look at being more practical, kind of accessing that practical mind, like applying all this knowledge that I have now into the world that I see and how it's presenting to myself, how it is presented to me, and I think spirituality is a very good form of practicality if you're looking for happiness in life, right? I mean, like, do you have to, like, go to the underpinnings of what it actually means? No, not really. I mean, there are people who are in academia studying it, but I don't think I need that. If I were going to the underpinnings of anything, it would probably be physics and, well, I guess the nature of reality. But then people like to say that the spirituality is a part of this aggregation of reality, the metaphysical world, and how the universe is presenting itself to us. That's interesting, I guess, but I don't know. There are a lot of ambitious people out there that are trying to understand this stuff. Yeah, that is not something for me though. I'm gonna be more practical instead. Yeah, it's been helping out, I guess. But yeah, so what did I do yesterday? Oh yeah, I said I was going to socialize, which I didn't. I was just in my own head. I was going through like a phase of, I don't know. I have these phases where I just want to absorb as much information as possible. So sometimes I just sit on my computer for a few hours, and that was on spirituality, to kind of internalize what it's trying to say and how to keep myself, understand these, like, the mind, the heart, and the soul, or the spirit, or I mean the body. Sorry, the heart is a spirit, I guess. I call it the heart, but yeah. So that's been helping out, and yeah, I don't know. I've been feeling pretty good. I let my mind water a lot, so I also got some. I had food delivery yesterday as well. I felt kind of bad though, but I haven't done that in a long time, and well, since I haven't done it in a long time, my stomach had some issues with that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, everything's been pretty good. I've been feeling happy, content. I've been in the moment. I went on a walk yesterday, and I was just letting my heart wander. I was letting it go where it wants to go, without my head being in the way. That's how I've been practicing being in tune with my heart, is just by going outside, because I think that's one of the easier ways. And then sometimes I guess you can just like sit down and just be, quote unquote, be, and just let everything happen, to let the, I guess, quote unquote universe do its work. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, just letting go essentially, which is what I've been doing. Anyways, I think that's it. I'm just kind of like just dragging this on for whatever reason. Oh wait, yeah, that's it. I guess other than that, tomorrow I guess I told myself I'm going to actually fix my resume because I've been slacking off on that. I wanted Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be more laid back, I guess, and I'm gonna go back to finishing that and fixing my resume. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna talk to Johanna. I think the day after that. That's the 5th, right? Yeah, and then I have that tutoring thing orientation on the 5th as well. I need to check if that conflicts with my tutoring schedule, and then I may have to talk to Johanna about that because I should have done this earlier, but I'm such a procrastinator. Whatever. Other than that, you guys already know what else I have going on. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.